Hi, friends. It's me, host Eric, your friendly host of Talking with Famous People, the television show that's all about how to be rad. Hi, Eric, says Lou Lois. Do you have more vids on relationships? After you said your ideal match is ISFJ, I was wondering why, and why not INFJ if we compare both? Excellent question, Lou Lois, and I've got an excellent answer for you as well. You're going to really enjoy this fine answer of mine. Okay, so I've been thinking a lot about this, a shitload about this, because obviously I'm looking for a woman and I want to make sure I get the right one. So I think the key to a relationship is where your polar is compared to where that same function is for them. So INFJ and ISFJ both have the same relationship with the polar that they both have the same relationship with it. So the ENTP polar is FI, introverted feeling. I think that the top two persons to be with for an ENTP are ISFJ and INFJ. Those are your first two choices. And the reason being, they have FI in the 6th slot, which means they're good at it, but they don't value it. And that's important because ENTP wants to be valued by somebody who knows how to value properly, but doesn't themselves value the valuing. Because if they value the valuing, that means they're going to be very sensitive. And you don't want to be very sensitive and be with an ENTP. If you're very sensitive and you're with an ENTP, even one like me, who I think is way more FI heavy than most, way more, by a super large margin. I have to be one of the more FI heavy ENTPs I've ever encountered, and I still don't like it. I mean, I don't like being kept there very long. I like having emotions. I like having big, quick emotions. I like being able to feel the weight of things. And that's what FI allows you to do. To really understand the weight of things to yourself. And who else could you possibly really understand the weight of things for? So, I think that 6th slot FI is what makes INFJ and ISFJ the two best candidates for the ENTP. The question Lou asks, though, is why is ISFJ better than INFJ? Well, first of all, I'm not sure they are. For a person like me, it may very well be the case that INFJ is my top match. Because the difference, the reason why ISFJ in theory would be my top match is because they've got SE in the 5th slot rather than the 7th slot. The problem with INFJ ENTP relationship is there's not any meaningful grasp of SE at all. So what does that mean? Well, it means INFJ and ENTP are likely to be very lazy together, for one thing. They're not a put the handle on it kind of couple. INFJ will frustrate ENTP by not finding the level of correctness up to snuff for something. Like, well, yeah, Eric, I want to participate in this fun thing with you. I want to play with you. I want to make something with you. But not that, because it's not perfect enough. This idea you have. It's not, it's like INFJ is fussy about art and how it's done and making sure that it's perfect in accordance with their NI and stuff. That's going to frustrate ENTP. They're not good collaborators, INFJs. They don't collaborate well because they've got such clear vision of what they want. Unless that vision is a collaborative one to begin with, then they're not going to collaborate well. And that's a reality. But ISFJ is not going to be very interested in collaborating. So that's another possibility, because ISFJ, they're not all about the NE. They're NEs in the fourth slot. They're NE seeking. That's why they're so such a good match for ENTP, because we provide all the NE that they want. They're seeking it. They provide all the SI that we want. We're seeking it. It's perfect in that regard. But in terms of avoiding negatives rather than seeking positives, it's the fact that the FI is in the sixth slot for both INFJ and ISFJ that causes them to both be safe partners for the ENTP, that we will be valued by them and they won't get their feelings hurt too easily. So I'd say that the worst matches for a person would be to have the polar in the same place. ENTP wouldn't work. There's nobody who's valuing anything in that relationship. And I think having have it be in the fourth slot would be probably a tricky one as well. So I don't think ENTJ is going to go well with the ENTP, and I don't think that ESTJ is going to go well with the ENTP as a relationship partner, because they've got our polar in their fourth slot. That's a bad place to have it. Eighth slot's possible, so INTP or ISTP. But for ISTP, that's going to be eliminated as a good choice, because their polar is our dominant. And that's a tricky one. That's a really tricky one, because one party is being supervised by the other one. My dominant function, extroverted intuition, would be like, she'd constantly be failing to see all the possibilities of things. And it would start to, and she'd understand that I lived through that evaluatory metric, and so that she'd be constantly failing. Same thing with me with an INFP, is that I'm constantly failing if I'm dating an INFP, or I'm constantly on the lookout for something, because I don't understand what she wants. That's the thing. If I were to date an INFP again, I'd run into the same problem probably, which is I don't understand what she wants. I don't even get how I'm doing it wrong. I get that I'm doing it wrong, FI, somehow, but I don't understand how I'm doing it wrong, and I don't think I'd be capable of doing it right. So that's a tough relationship to be in, where you know that you're just retarded on the thing that your partner's really good at. So I would sort of eliminate ISTP. Now, the other possibility is to have the invert, like FI in the third slot. If you have FI in the third slot, then you are ISTJ or INTJ. In either case, I think that's a good match for ENTP. I think third slot's fine, because then look, their polar is my third, my polar is their third, and for either of those, I think it's going to be a good match. If you get ISTJ, you've got the NESI thing going, just like with ISFJ, which is good, and you have a consistency of importance to FI and FE that I think would work out well. I think probably the best four matches for ENTP are, in this order: ISFJ, INFJ, ISTJ, INTJ. I think those are the four best matches in that order for ENTP. Thanks, Lou, for the question. I really appreciate it, and I enjoyed answering it. I hope you guys enjoyed watching it. So that's all I have to say about that.